They fined me $6,400 for a solar charger I bought on Amazon, and tried to get me removed as the city's energy liaison. I live in a tight grid community called Cypress Ridge, just outside Sacramento. Cookie-cutter homes, 3 color schemes, and an HOA board with more surveillance than the TSA. I wasn't looking to stir the pot. I just wanted to charge my e-bike. As California's appointed municipal energy liaison, I'd spent the last 4 years building sustainability programs, school panels, community gardens, free LED kits for seniors. But when my work-from-home job shifted to hybrid and gas hit $7.30 a gallon, I bought an e-bike and installed a small solar charger on my back deck. It was one of those foldable, waterproof units. Legal in my city. Permitted by the state. I even sent the specs to the HOA management company, just in case. They never responded. But 3 weeks later, I got a citation, unauthorized power equipment, immediate removal required. They stapled it to my wooden gate like a scarlet letter. I called the property manager, Brenda, always breathless, always vague. It's about aesthetics, she said. The board says it's reflective. It's matte black. You can't see it from the street, I replied. Still, it's non-compliant. I asked to see the exact clause I violated. She said, "We'll get back to you." They didn't. Instead, 2 days later, I found a printed notice taped to my front door. Bold font. All caps, multiple violations pending review. By the weekend, it had escalated from citations to something weirder. I was taking the trash out when I saw Ted from 2 houses down, normally chatty, look right past me like I wasn't there. Then Sheila, the neighborhood Facebook admin, blocked me. The kicker? Someone posted an edited photo of my backyard in the HOA Facebook group with the caption, "This is what happens when you let radicals play engineer." I hadn't told anyone I worked in renewables. Knowledge nugget number 1, in most states, HOAs can't legally restrict solar installations unless they're visible from a public-facing roofline. Deck chargers and yard panels are usually exempt. I figured I was up against a few cranky retirees. Wrong. 3 nights later, I saw a car parked near my fence with its lights off. I stepped outside with a flashlight. The car peeled off, tires squealing. Next morning, I found a bright orange violation sticker on my solar panel, same style the HOA uses, but sloppier. Crooked, bubbles under the laminate. And no barcode. That's when I realized, this wasn't about rules. This was personal. I pulled property records, past meeting notes, anything public. Most of the board seemed forgettable. Except one name, Dennis Slater. Ex-cop. Self-titled, President for Life. Never responded to emails, just made surprise inspections. At the last AGM, he bragged he'd cleaned up the riffraff with procedural enforcement. But it got deeper. Dennis wasn't just enforcing rules. He was making them. 2 years ago, he slipped in a temporary equipment clause during a closed meeting, no vote, no notice. It banned any auxiliary power units not mounted on a residential structure. He'd snuck in language vague enough to ban everything except rooftop solar, which just so happened to be offered at a discount by his nephew's installation company. I traced the LLC. Yep, same last name. Knowledge nugget number 2. If an HOA board member financially benefits from a rule they help create, it's a textbook conflict of interest. That's grounds for legal recusal, or even state investigation. I drafted a complaint to the State Oversight Board. But before I could submit it, I got a letter. Certified mail. Thick envelope. HOA letterhead. Inside, a formal cease and desist demanding I remove my unauthorized energy unit within 72 hours or face daily fines and legal seizure of property. Legal seizure. I wasn't scared. I was furious. That night, I posted a photo of the solar unit to my city liaison account. Caption: How does this violate neighborhood harmony? It blew up. Hundreds of shares. Dozens of lawyers dmang me. 2 local reporters reached out within 24 hours. Then I got a message from a woman named Julie. She lived in Cypress Ridge until last year. Moved after her teenage son was fined $500 for modifying a scooter with non-permitted LED lighting. Julie had sued the HOA and won. We met at a diner off Highway 50. She slid a manila folder across the table like we were in a spy movie. Inside, minutes from an unpublicized HOA meeting, audio transcripts, emails, and a spreadsheet. A fund labeled Exterior Compliance Escrow, but with no external audit trail. Over $80,000 collected in non-compliance fees, quietly funneled into a private management company Dennis Slater co-owned. Brenda, the property manager, also on the LLC. I filed the state complaint that same night. If you're watching this and you've ever been bullied by an HOA, screenshot this clause and tag a friend who needs armor. Any restriction not explicitly outlined in recorded bylaws is unenforceable unless passed by majority homeowner vote. It saved me $6,400, and it might save you more. The fallout came fast. I posted everything, Julie's docs, the permit for my charger, the list of escrow payments, on a private site and emailed it to the neighborhood. 2 days later, I got a handwritten note on my windshield. You made a powerful enemy. But I wasn't alone anymore. 3 neighbors joined a civil suit. One of them, a retired Navy JAG, offered to represent us pro bono. We filed a complaint with the county attorney. Cited misappropriation of funds, intimidation, and fraudulent citations. Then things exploded. The IRS opened a probe into the HOA's finances. Turns out those compliance fees weren't reported anywhere. The county clerk flagged Dennis Slater's deed signature on 3 different violation notices as non-authorized. Meaning, he wasn't legally empowered to issue fines at all. Knowledge nugget number 3, most HOAs are nonprofits, which means their board members can't receive personal compensation, direct or indirect, without full community disclosure and vote. Dennis didn't go down quietly. At the next emergency meeting, he stood up and said, "You're tearing apart this community with lies." Then someone asked about the LLC. He froze. Just stood there, blinking, like a man trying to hold his breath underwater. Within the week, he resigned. Brenda disappeared the next day, email auto-reply, office dark. The escrow account? Frozen. The fines? Refunded. And my little charger? Still humming away, collecting sunlight like a quiet act of defiance. That was 9 months ago. Since then, I helped the city launch a new energy equity grant for low-income residents. We've installed over 120 free solar units, including 3 in Cypress Ridge. The board? Reformed. Now fully transparent. All major decisions require a public vote, and we added term limits. But last month, I got a voicemail. No caller ID. Distorted voice. You think it's over, it said. Check your back gate. I did. Taped to the wood was an old HOA citation. Dated 2 years ago. Different address. Same sloppy orange sticker. Next week, I'm covering the town that tried to confiscate a private solar farm, because it hurt the view. You won't believe who signed that permit.